Good afternoon. Ooh, that is a huge good afternoon, isn't it? Why don't we get this party started? That's right. Hello and welcome to Connecticut's launch of the nation's first Christmas Movie Trail. Woo! That's right. My name is Ellen Wolf, and I'm the brand director for statewide tourism and marketing for this small and mighty state. My background is in TV production, and I also worked nearly a decade for the film and television office. So, yeehaw! So this is like my passion project, but I know it will be yours soon too. So the Christmas Movie Trail is a true intersection of live, work, and play spirit in Connecticut. It's a celebration of the thriving film and television industry, the vibrant communities that we call home, and the super cool careers you can have in Connecticut. It also taps into the growing tourism trend of set jetting. And that's where fans travel to their real-life locations of their favorite shows to connect with the stories that you love. And it also brings gobsmacks of pride when we see a Christmas film in our neighborhood. Am I right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So Connecticut's the perfect blend of small-town charm, bustling main streets, and scenic beauty that brings Christmas magic to life. So take Wethersfield, for instance, a delightful town, right, with deep cultural and historic roots and a very strong community spirit. Yeah. That's awesome. You keep doing that. I'll give you that $5 later. So I want you to admire the majesty of this historic B&B. I mean, wouldn't it be a wonderful place for a Christmas movie? Woo, right. Yeah, it would. Well, it is. What? Yeah, we're currently on the Connecticut Christmas Movie Trail right now. This stunning Second Empire house was the set for the Hallmark movie Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane. The third floor ballroom was the parents' bedroom. On the second floor was Emma's room, and nearly every single room inside the first floor was seen in the movie. Not only that, Alicia Witt and Colin Ferguson had the same hot cocoa, hopefully that you're sipping and enjoying, right there on those steps. So hint, hint for, a selfie moment later. I'm just saying. So, without any further ado, I'd like to bring up our colleague, Executive Director of the Office of Film, Television, and Digital Media, George Norfleet.
Wow, thank you, Ellen. This is great for me. I don't get out much, to tell you the truth, and I never get any applause. So this is fantastic. We got to do this far more often. But yeah, so as Ellen said, I am the Executive Director of Connecticut's Office of Film, Television, and Digital Media. And I am just really psyched to be here today with my colleagues as we kick off the Connecticut Holiday Movie Trail. You are here first, so welcome. It's also important to note that holiday films are significant contributors to our economy as well. $58 million has been spent behind the making of holiday movies in Connecticut alone. That's $58 million, okay? So this is something that isn't just looking good and making people feel good, but it's about business. It creates jobs. These movies have created 2,000 jobs across various sectors as well. The expenditures that these movies make across the state and in towns like this one is significant. For instance, in just holiday movies, not the other things that we produce here, but just holiday films that have shot here, We've seen $1.5 million in hotel accommodations. We've seen almost $500,000 spent in vehicle rentals. We've seen over $700,000 spent in catering and meals, and I mean that's a lot of lunch, So it's important that we have these films and we maintain these films. And my friend Andrew Gernhardt, actually producer Andrew, will be coming up in just a moment to talk about why he thinks it's special to shoot in the state of Connecticut. But I can tell you that film production companies shoot here in large part because of the tax incentives that we can also offer. We don't just look good, but we hit hard as well when it comes to your budget. And if you don't have a tax incentive element in your production budget, the likelihood that your film is going to get greenlit by a major producer is slim to none. So we offer that, and ours is successful. It is competitive with our neighbors, New York and New Jersey. And since the inception of Connecticut having incentives on the ground, we've seen that leverage over $5 billion of expenditures in Connecticut's economy. So I just wanted to throw some big numbers around, but they are real. They are real. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out and make sure that you understand that this industry is an important industry, one that we are happy to have, one that we are encouraging, one that we are building, and one that we hope that you will continue to patronize in movie theaters as well as on your television screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Hey, so do you want to know who's responsible for bringing the majority of 22 Christmas films over the last 10 years to Connecticut? It's Andrew Gernhardt! Before Andrew talks to you, though, I want to let you know that he has several colleagues from his company and that he works with here in the audience today. And I just want to give a shout out to director-producer Dustin Reichert, producer Molly Mayu, accountant Susan Purcell. Now give her accountant. That's the big money so there. And screenwriter Julie Sherman Wolf, no relation. Andrew, can you tell us, among other things, like why do you choose to keep and bring your Christmas movies here?
Well, I think I'll echo what George mentioned. Tax incentive is a big deal. Most networks and studios will not go to places without the incentive. But most of all, it's the beautiful locations here, like this home. We've shot in Hartford, we've shot in Mystic, New London, all over the place. We have very unique architecture that I think looks great. Plus the people of Connecticut are really great. We have great caterers, we have great support staff, we have great locations. All these people come together to make these movies, and they really embrace the movies. And the Hallmark movies they're blown up. I mean, these folks came from cruises, and they're going on cruises, and there's almost like a Hallmark theme park. Christmas movies have become huge, and it's great that they have a home in Connecticut, and I just want to bring more and more here to bring work, to bring notoriety, and I think this trail is perfect because for years, everybody asked me, where was the shot? Where do we go? And now we can actually find all the places that these movies are shot in.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, now it's my pleasure to introduce 3 treasured Hallmark stars. They're not only incredible actors, but also have a special connection to our state, each one of them, that makes their presence even more meaningful. Please welcome Wes Brown, Erin Cahill, and Michael Rady. I'm so freaking starstruck. Don't tell them. It'll get to their head. So I'm going to ask a little bit for you to tell your stories and connections to Connecticut. Let's start with Wes. Yeah, baby. All right,
guys. Thank you for having us, first of all. There we go. I'll tell you my story to Connecticut. In 2012, booked a series on NBC called Deception, and it was my first experience ever to the East Coast. We were living in Los Angeles at the time. Well, it was the first time as a series regular we got to make a little more money than scale. So I was like, sweet, I'm going to save some money. Then I saw New York City prices. And my wife called me, and she said, hey, I found this rental in Norwalk, Connecticut. And I was like, honey, it's a little early to start drinking. That's in another state. I knew what Grand Central was, but I didn't know Grand Central's function. I didn't know people lived in New Jersey and New York. I was very unfamiliar. So we ended up renting to this little place in Norwalk, and we shot this show in Brooklyn and Manhattan. And it was one of the most magical, I know that sounds a little corny, but it really was. I'm from South Louisiana. My wife is from Florida. Thanksgiving looked like Thanksgiving. That year, it actually snowed on Christmas Day. So it was absolutely spectacular. Like most networks do, they canceled the show, and we had to go back to Los Angeles. Now, that small story I just told you, that happened 3 separate times over the next 10 years. So, and we called Connecticut our home instead of living in the big city. So I say that we are just so lucky and happy to be here. Thank you guys for letting me live in your state. It's fantastic. We've lived all over the country, and this has been by far the most favorite place we've ever lived. And the fact that we're sitting here talking about tax incentives and doing more movies here, I personally have never, the last time I laid my head on my bed and went to work was 2017. So I'm really looking to change that with the help of Dustin and Andrew and all you guys. So but thank you for having us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Russ. We want you to help us too, right? Okay, let's talk with Michael. Michael is the perfect trifecta of live, work, and play. And let me tell you why, because Michael not only lives here, but, yeah, he does too, right? But he's been in 2 Hallmark Christmas movies here, Christmas at Pemberley Manor and Where Are You, Christmas? So, Michael, tell us, why do you love Connecticut, and how important and does it make you happy to be able to work when you're at home?
Well, as Wes, my neighbor, we just found out we're neighbors. As my neighbor just said, it's pretty rare when you're an actor to get to go to work and then come home and go to bed and say goodnight to your kids and your wife. And so I've had that rarefied pleasure twice now. I think it was the day after I closed on my house in Connecticut, I started shooting Christmas at Pemberley Manor, which we shot in Old Lyme and Essex and a number of other places around there. And that was really special. I've made a couple of Hallmark movies, and a lot of them, quite a good number of them were Christmas movies. And so now I find myself living on a flower farm in the Christmas tree capital of Connecticut. And that irony is never lost on me, and it just cracks me up. As my children do say, though, it's the Christmas tree capital of the world, because if it's a competition, they're definitely going to win. Yeah, that is true, though. I live in the Christmas tree capital of Connecticut. It's my own special little... I pinch myself all the time that I get to live here. The fall we should have a press event for the fall foliage this year. You guys, it was the most breathtaking I ever remember it, from when I was a kid till now. It was breathtaking. And I pinched myself every day. I pinch myself every day when I get to live here and when I get to go to work here. It's a magical state, and I feel so much pride that I get to live in it and work in it and share the beauty of all of this with the world. We really do. We share the enchantment of this place with the world through these movies, and I'm really grateful that I get to do it with such wonderful people, and I hope we can continue to.
Thank you. We're grateful you're here. We're grateful to share it with you. Thanks, Michael. So, our next guest, Erin Cahill. My new best friend, I'm telling you. No, serious. So while Erin hasn't filmed a movie yet in Connecticut, she is one of Hallmark's most beloved stars. As all, like I just rocked it here. I got them all. I got the best 3 for us. So she does have ties to Connecticut. Her very own granny lives here. Is this crazy? We're just, breeding them here. I'm just saying. So, Erin, come on, tell us about your connection to Connecticut and what you love and what brings you here.
Well, first of all, like what Wes said, oh gosh, that was loud for a second. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Andrew, for inviting me. Dustin, Molly, I'm just so chuffed to be here with everybody. Julie, if you guys get a chance to meet her, she's excellent. The whole team. Ooh, and they agree. So I am not a Connecticutite. A nutmegger.
See? I know.
Oh, well, but I am in my heart a nutmegger. And it's because I've been coming here literally ever since I was born. Every summer we do our family reunion here. You guys can come. It's at my uncle's house, big yard. And I've spent so many Thanksgivings and Christmases here. I feel like this is home. So I was really honored because I was like, oh, Andrew, I've never filmed here. But then I really, really am tied to the state in my heart and soul. So thank you very much for having me. And I love it. It's, it's like Michael said, like, get out of here with this scenery. Every time I come up here, it feels more like the holidays than it does anywhere else in the world. I mean, I grew up, do you guys know the Christmas house? With all the twinkle lights. It's like for years and years and years they did it. Yeah, I grew up going to that every Christmas, and anything short of that doesn't feel like Christmas. So this is the place to be. And I'm just so thrilled to be here, and please come say hi.
Thanks, Erin. Don't go too far away. I'm gonna ask Erin to join me in doing something in just a second. But many of you know we ran a contest for 12 lucky winners to join us today and be part of our state's history. And there they are, mostly right now. You can see them, right? Yeah, contest winners. Woo, woo, woo. Good job, you guys. Okay. So they not only did they win this contest to be here, but now one of these lucky dozen will win a spot on Andrew's next Christmas movie in Connecticut. Yeah, I'll say. But before we pick Connecticut's newest Christmas movie extra, I'm going to pass it over to a special helper from the North Pole, who's sorted out our naughty and nice list.
Oh, didn't see you there. Hello, I'm Ellen the Elf. I look a lot like that nice MC, I'd like to read you a few of the responses to the contest for the people that are going to win a walk-on role to the next Christmas movie in Connecticut. Let's do this, shall we? Answer number 1. Well, for starters, I always get compliments on what I'm wearing. I think I would fit in the movie. Good one, right? Number 2. Because it's a universal dream for Hallmark fans. Oh, it is a universal dream for Hallmark fans. It's kind of my dream, too. Okay, so, plus, already I have the wardrobe for Hallmark situation and own a curling iron for Hallmark hair. Oh, I'm liking this one. Number 3, I'd be a kid. We're gonna pick a winner soon. So I'm gonna toss it back to our friends, and we're gonna pick that walk-on role to the next Connecticut Christmas movie!
Well, that was special. Kind of weird. Okay, so Erin, would you join me in picking the next extra on Andrew's Connecticut film? I have in the Santa hat. You're just going to have to trust me. I have everybody's names. I'm going to show you in a second here. There we go. Everybody's names in here. And Erin's going to reach in and pick out our winner. Probably really low down there.
Go in. Oh, by the way, while I do this, big shout out to my grandma. She didn't feel well today, but she's here now.
Love you very much.
Bye. Get better soon, Gloria.
Whitney Longworth?
Whitney!
Who's Whitney? Stand up, Whitney! Yay!
Yay, congratulations, Whitney Longworth. Good to see your name on the big screen. That's so exciting.
Wow, that sounds like a Hallmark character name. Whitney, congratulations. We will chat later. Wow. Wow for Whitney. Thank you, Erin. So, now we're going to hear from none other than my boss and colleague, Chief Marketing Officer Anthony. Yeah, I didn't just skip there. Anthony, for more on what this all means to us.
Is that a good stage name? Does that work? That's my real name. Really sadistic parents, or meant for the movies or TV. So, I could give it a shot one day. Andrew, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So you guys have been hearing an awful lot today, not just about the trail, but these words live, work, play. And I'm here to tell you a little bit more about what that means. Let's start off, though, with this being the nation's first Christmas trail and why live, work, play works so well with this. It shows you why Connecticut is a wonderful place to live. All these productions come here because of the vibrant communities, because of the quintessential architecture, because of the small towns and the mid-sized cities. The quality of life here is unparalleled. I chose to move my family here and raise my kids here because it is one of the best damn places in the world to do that. It's not just schools. It's not just safe communities. It's access to health care. It's some of the best universities in the world. And all of these things make Connecticut a fantastic place to live. As you're going to see with this trail, there's plenty to do. So play and visitation is all taken care of. And we've talked a little bit about work, jobs and opportunities. And one of the governor's biggest pieces of his agenda has been to provide growth and opportunity to everyone. And you're going to see more and more of that throughout this state as our efforts continue forth. But as you pull the lens back a little bit, why we choose to say live, work, play, it's not just a clever term. It's not just a marketing piece of jargon. We do this because it is a model that has worked across the nation. And let me explain to you why. When you figure out a place that is really good to visit, it happens to also be a great place for people to live because there's plenty to do. Well, Connecticut already has wonderful things to do with the quality of life I just mentioned. So that means businesses want to come here where people are living because they have a workforce and they have people to sell to. And when you have businesses in a place and wanting to invest there, then other investors come in and invest more capital. So it breeds a virtuous cycle. And we do this intentionally to grow our economy, to grow our population, and to bring more people into the state, whether they're visitors, residents, or entrepreneurs. So with that being said, and what this all means is, look, we've had growth here. We've got momentum in the wind at our backs. We've got, in the last 3 years, we've had 11,000 people net move into Connecticut. And that compares to New York, who lost more than 500,000 people, and Massachusetts, who's also lost 6 digits. Our economy is one of the top 20 fastest growing in the nation in the last couple years. And that, compared to many other in the region, is exceeding it. So Connecticut ends up being a fantastic place to start your business, to make your career. I want to remind everybody of that today because all these efforts, it's not just about tourism. It's not just about feel good and fun. This is a driver of our economy. Marketing works. The return on investment of every dollar that we spend is between $8 and $9 in tax revenue for the state. And that also means that every person who comes in is spending on average of $85 in local businesses. So there's a huge ROI. This is a very good thing for Connecticut. And this first in the nation movie trail is designed not just to bring money in, it's to change hearts and minds about Connecticut. You all may know, hopefully you've seen it, all the word out there about our state on the national scene, whether it's pizza, basketball, hopefully now this first in the nation movie trail. Connecticut pride, baby. Oh, yeah, nutmeggers. So actually, let me just real quick, show of hands. What should we call ourselves? Connecticuties, Connecticuters, Nutmeggers? Any creative suggestions? We'll do a poll later. We'll see what that is. But I want to close it all out and just say thank you all for being here and being a part of this moment in state history. And all of this progress, all this momentum is made possible by the governor. The governor's leadership has really put us in a place where we feel not only confident in what we do, but it's all rooted in our values. And so Connecticut values come straight from the top down. So I want to introduce our fearless leader, Governor Lamont.
All right, Merry Christmas, Weathersfield. Merry Christmas, Connecticut. Andrew, you don't need a green screen. This place is just custom made for Christmas, isn't it? Look at this place. Somebody must have said, let's build a house made for Christmas. And that's where we are today. I love it. And Ellen, I thought you were trying to jump the line with your little video, trying to get in there as another extra. That was a pretty good performance. I'll tell you just a couple of things what I love. First of all, I never heard that. Set jetting. You don't have to set jet. You're already here if you want to see the set of the great movies. You guys are amazing, and you're great testimonials to Connecticut. And tell Grandma we love her, will you? That's, I'll tell you, I love the idea of a Christmas movie trail. You know, we've got a beer trail. We got a wine trail. How about a non-alcoholic trail for a change? How about a Christmas movie trail, which is, which just showcases what makes this state so amazing. And I want to say one last thing about Anthony. He's not very modest, you know. He put up the signs, basketball capital of the world, right next to Massachusetts that has the Celtics, but he can handle it. And, pizza capital of the world, take that, New York. So, we can just do another sign, Christmas tree capital of the world, or why are we so modest? How about Christmas capital of the world, right here in Connecticut? God bless you all.
Wow, thank you. Governor Lamont, next time you MC next year. Okay. So now, oh my God, it's finally here. The moment you've all been waiting for, featuring over 100 locations and nearly 40 towns and cities, our Christmas present to you, the Connecticut Christmas Movie Trail. That's right. This Christmas Movie Trail map that you're looking at and companion itineraries make up a super fun curated guide, and they connect travelers and residents with accommodations, dining spots, towns, and attractions that play a role in 22 Christmas movies from Christmas films from Lifetime, Netflix, BT, Universal, and Hallmark. You'll find the trail on ctvisit.com shortly, and hard copies of this map inside on the first floor right now. So now, before we get to the close, we do have an opportunity for a few questions in the audience. If you have any questions for any of our guest speakers, and that includes Dustin and Molly and Julie that we mentioned as well, who are in the audience. Does anyone have any questions for Andrew, for Eric, for Wes, for Michael, or for Erin?
Where's your grandma from, Erin?
Thank you so much for asking about my grandma. She wants to know where my grandma is from, and I went back up and I immediately went, I should have talked more about Graham. She lives in Torrington and has since my dad was, so for a long 2 generations basically. Yeah.
Any other questions?
When does the movie start shooting?
The next Connecticut Christmas movie start shooting?
Our extra that we all want to watch.
Oh, well.
Next year, probably.
Next year.
We get them as they come, but probably early next year.
That sounds good to me. So, yeah. Another question? There was somebody in the back. Anybody? Okay. Over here?
And the movie probably
Well, you know, I'm just going to tell you that while we're calling this the Christmas Movie Trail, have you ever heard, now maybe Hallmark should like take note of this. How about Christmas in July? What do you think? What do you think of that? So there's never not a time to do the Christmas Movie Trail. Just watch one of the movies and go and have a blast.
How do you do it, Andrew?
Oh, during off season. Oh yeah, well we shoot all year round. Luckily, we do get some that take place during the winter, and we can do the winter shots. But a lot of them are during the summer. All of these fine folks have been wearing wool in 80, 100 degrees.
Yeah. 97 degrees.
Even heavier than this.
Oh.
And
Put a hat on. I mean,
yeah, the hat. Oh yeah. And luckily, they all turn a little red, so it looks cold. You just got to make sure they don't sweat. But yeah, we do a little bit of snow on the ground, then we CG everything else. Dustin is the CG master.
to that point, my first movie here, Pemberley Manor, we shot in Old Lyme, as I said, and we shot it in June in New England. And I had just landed off the plane from Los Angeles. We're doing a Christmas movie? It doesn't make any sense. We can't. This is impossible. We got to set, and sure enough, it was so lush and verdant and green and beautiful. And our director, he's not here tonight, Colin, but he's with Synthetic as well. It was as if I was asking, like, there's no cameras here. We can't make the movie. He could have cared. He could have cared less. He wasn't concerned at all because these wizards are experts in. They come from a background of special effects, and so there was a couple white blankets on the ground, and then they just focused on everything they needed to focus on, and then in post they went in and made this whole winter wonderland. Connecticut has a lot to offer. Has a lot to offer the movie making industry. It doesn't have 3 feet of snow in June. And
I don't think it has
that's
3
where
feet
these
of
guys
snow
come in.
anymore. There's like no snow anymore in Connecticut, but that's how we do it.
I'm sorry, could the wizards, Molly and Dustin, just raise their hand for a second so we can all see where wizardry is? Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions from anyone, anywhere? We good? All right. So I'm going to start to wrap it up with some extra gratitude for all that helped this, all who helped this happen today. The Charles, you might be the smell wafting from the background for bringing their award-winning creativity with the holiday-themed fare you have in there and some wonderful specialty drinks, non-alky and pure alky, whatever you like. Heirloom Market for the eggnog cupcakes. And those are the same delightful treats that were in the movie right here, Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane. An extra special shout out to Olga and Dimitri, the owners of the Silas W. Robbins House, for opening their beautiful home for this very special event. The Connecticut Yuletide easy for me to say, carolers, for getting us into the holiday spirit. My colleagues at the Connecticut Office of Statewide Marketing and Tourism, and our partners at Adams and Knight for their tireless efforts in making this look easy. Michelle Bonner, Felicia Lindau, thank you so much. So, yeah, big hand for everybody. So at this time, we'd like to invite our contest winners to join the actors and Andrew and his team up in the ballroom that's on the 3rd floor for some meet and greet and photos. And for the other guests, please feel free to enjoy the festivities inside on the 1st floor. And don't miss on the 2nd floor a really exciting costume display from many of your favorite Christmas movies shot in Connecticut. And to our media friends, you're very welcome to head up to the ballroom as well for some interviews. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we go into the holiday season, remember that in Connecticut, we make Christmas movie magic here. Thank you. I'll ask the front row here to come on up.